Right, so good evening everybody and welcome to our essential oil class. I'm just going to get the PowerPoint presentation up. And, oh, it's already there, I've already done it. Okay, we can do questions as we go through. We can do questions at the end, whatever you're more comfortable with. Otherwise, I'm just going to get started.
Okay.
Can anyone else hear a little bit of an echo, or is that just from my end?
No, there is a little bit of an echo.
I wonder what that is. I can't hear it now. Maybe I should mute the. Maybe I should mute you, Louise. Right, let me see if that makes any difference. Okay, is there any echo now? No. Okay, Louise, it was you. we'll unmute you when you talk, when you want to talk. Okay, right, so good evening, welcome to class. I'm going to give a really brief introduction about doTerra first of all. So this is the company that I work with, and they are, well, they're the biggest essential oil company in the world, but they're also the first to bring pure oil to the market. And since they've sort of expanded into much more into commonplace use now, there have been a lot of other companies that thought, oh, essential oils, this is a bit of a thing now, and they've started mimicking, and they've started trying to jump on the bandwagon a little bit. But unfortunately, there isn't any legislation in place so that when you're producing an oil, so for example, at the moment, your oil actually only needs to be 8% essential oil to be marketed, labelled, sold as 100% pure. So doTerra was created by aromatherapists, doctors, industry experts, and they said, we're going to create the purest oil the world's ever seen. And a lot of the other oils that have followed haven't had the same level of purity because they don't have the chemists in place, they don't have the the partnerships with the farmers that doTerra have, and they don't have the legislation. So one thing I was really looking for was, a company that were doing things ethically, but also with a guarantee of that quality and that purity, and that's what led me to doTerra. Now, because we've got this purity promise in place, which I'll explain to you a little bit in a minute, it also means that doTerra are partnering with lots of clinical settings, hospitals, lots of clinical trials. So it's really a very exciting time because we're seeing, sorry, it was distracting when someone comes in the room. I'll just let this person in. We're seeing these oils used and the therapeutic benefits of them. So, for example, one of the oils is focused on cancer treatment and how the oils are able to help support that treatment and alleviate some of the nasty side effects and symptoms. So it really is changing the way that medicine is being done all around the world. And the oils are all sourced under a fair trade agreement, so partnering with the farmers. The oils are only sourced in the countries they would naturally grow best, and often that is third world countries. So they've got very little opportunity, very little industry there. So it's really beautiful to see these whole communities coming together, producing.
Now, you are like me, so the fitness world.
And in turn the oils, and within those communities, it's not just about paying the people fairly, but also doTerra build hospitals, schools, put in water wells. So it's created this huge movement that's really changing millions of lives. That's my doTerra bit over. Let's talk about the oils. So we use essential oils to support our optimal immune system function. I'm just going to touch on a couple of these things. So one of them is reducing the toxic load. Now, we've got toxins everywhere. We can't avoid all of them, but we can reduce them. Now, what happens when you have overexposure of toxins is it can lead to inflammation, to disease, things like asthma, insomnia, headaches, hormonal problems, all sorts of nasty things that we don't want. Now, often these toxic chemicals and products can be really easily replaced with natural products like essential oils. So we really help you to get started with this. We've got classes and all sorts of topics, things such as green cleaning. So if you wanted to look at the toxins in your cleaning products and maybe go for some natural versions instead, we can share recipes and blends with you and ideas to help you get started. Now, the other thing is resting and managing stress. Stress is another huge killer and crisis that so many people are living with. Now, essential oils are clinically proven to lower your stress and cortisol levels. And I think most people have something they turn to in times of that stress or that overwhelm. Sometimes these are healthy habits, sometimes these are unhealthy habits. So where possible, if we can steer towards the healthy habits direction, we encourage that. And I know that things like, being in nature, going for a walk are really beautiful ways to lower the stress levels. That sometimes you get to the point where you don't even feel that you're capable of that in the moment. So I feel like essential oils are much easier, easy to use. You can just put some drops in your diffuser or add them to your pillow or your bath, or just put a little bit in your hand and breathe in and allow those cortisol and those stress levels to lower naturally. Okay, now let's talk about what essential oils actually are. So they are the most powerful botanical extracts that you will find in the world. And we know how good things like fruits, vegetables, and herbs are for us. And this is all of that goodness in the absolute most concentrated form. Actually, the essential oils are between 50 and 70 times more powerful than just herbs. And they are also the plant's immune system. That's not something that everyone knows. So essential oils are the plant's immune system. And the way that the plant would heal itself, for example, if somebody stepped on it, it heals and it repairs, the way it defends itself from predators. All of this goodness is within the oils. And actually, our building blocks are very similar to that of plants. So we can absorb all of those benefits very easily, very quickly, very effectively. So essential oils enter our bloodstream in literally just 30 seconds. They're so quick. And they start to affect all of the cells in the body within 20 minutes. Oh, I'm just gonna mute that one. So I've got a really amazing video. Actually, I can send it to any of you later. It's only a minute long. And 1 drop of doTerra oil is placed on the bottom of somebody's feet. Now, the red blood cells are being looked at through a microscope. And at the start, they're all stagnant and clumped together. And then 30 seconds later, you see these red blood cells and they're glowing, they're oxygenated, they're buzzing, and they're free flowing like they should be. And I think, wow, I mean, it's just amazing to see the difference that's having within our bodies after 30 seconds. So that's for the non-believers, the people who think they're just, pretty smelly things that ladies like to use. Now, another thing that's really impressive about essential oils is they're lipophilic, which means they pass through the cell walls. So our cells...
I have this.
Okay.
I'm just going to mute you, sorry.
Hello.
Our cells have this oily membrane around them. And it's to protect the cell, but sometimes things do get in there. So for example, you had a virus would be living in that cell. Now, all of our, or most of our Western medications are water-based. And this outer membrane is oil, it's an oily outer membrane. And so our water-based medication can't pass through the membrane. So if you had something like a virus and you were to go to your GP, there's very little they can do for you. It's just fluids and bed rest. But actually you can do more than that, because essential oils are antiviral. They pass through this oily outer membrane, they get into the cell, they attack the virus, and they leave your cells healthy again. I'm definitely not against using Western medication, but I do think we should use all of the resources that we have available. And in some instances, natural is actually superior to what we have. And this is just another example of that. Okay, so in order to get an oil that has these therapeutic benefits, that's going to work on a cellular level, you have to employ chemists. You have to have chemists as part of your business. And this is also where some other essential oil companies, they might believe that they have a pure oil, but if they're not working directly with the chemists themselves, they're not going to know. And actually, it's commonplace that they are told, oh yes, this is a pure oil, and it goes through so many middlemen that they have no way of knowing, because they can't do the chemical tests themselves. And actually it does get diluted and more adulterated through every single person it reaches. So what doTerra do is they work with more than 30 scientists who are testing. The only way you can ensure that purity and that quality is with a huge amount of tests, not animal testing, but chemical testing. So if you look in the right hand side here, you can see some of the different tests. So it would be things like gas chromatography, making sure there's no heavy metals or pesticides in the oils. Now, every single bottle of oil is tested 24 times, and that's at different stages of production. So, you know, has the chemical structure changed? Has it been exposed to too much sunlight and it's no longer as potent as what we need? And this means that we have a medical grade essential oil. They are in the top 1% oils in the world, thanks to this very, very strict quality testing control. And actually there was an independent study done by the Aromatic Plant Research Centre. They tested the top 50 essential oil companies. These are meant to be the best 50. 47 out of those 50 companies, their oils were adulterated and contained synthetic ingredients. I don't know if any of you have bought oils before and you feel like they can be inconsistent, or they sometimes just don't smell right, or maybe they just give you a bit of a headache. You know, it can be, that's an indication. Anyway, so doTerra have done all their own tests, done these 24 tests. They know that this is the best oil that you could possibly get. But they also know that if they put that on the label, you know, 100% pure, tested, certified oil, it actually doesn't mean anything, because these are buzzwords that all these other companies are using, and sadly it's not true of their product. So what they do, and I really liked this when I first learned this, I thought, wow, nobody else does this. They take their essential oils to an independent third party who do further testings to verify the quality and purity. And those results are actually made available with the consumer. So when you get your oil, every single oil has a number on the bottom, a unique number to that bottle, called a quality ID number. And you pop it in a website called Source to You, and you can literally see the test results for yourself. There's videos to explain if you're not quite confident with all the chemicals terminology. So that's Source to You. And actually, I just recommend you checking out that video anyway. Not the video, sorry, the website, because there's really, really beautiful sourcing stories there, seeing the communities, seeing how the oil's made. Yeah, it's lovely. Okay, so I'm just going to explain now 3 different ways you can use the oils. The first is aromatically, so that's just smelling the oils. And in order to, sorry, got distracted a second. So one of my favorite ways is you can put this in the diffuser. So I wouldn't recommend a burner because heat can damage some of those therapeutic benefits. So with a burner, you've got these really gentle, diffuser. With a diffuser, you've got these really gentle ultrasonic waves that break the oil up. They don't damage it. Normally I have one here, but I seem to have forgotten in my rush today. But you can have fun. Oh, thank you, Jodie. Jodie's demonstrating one. Can we see that again, please, Jodie? There we go, lovely. You can have fun. You can put in different blends. I always say, like, the ones that you really like, the ones you're drawn to, those are the ones that your body needs. Like if you smell something, you think, oh my God, like those properties, that's what your body is literally craving. So be drawn by your intuition, like your body knows best. But if you're working in a home or office or any kind of shared space, you can have the diffuser going in the room and everybody will then benefit from it. If you've got something lovely and relaxing, or something to help with focus, or even something to ward off germs, you kind of protect your area then. But another thing that is nice to do is you can, quite a few of these you can use neat. They have an N on the bottle. So if you're just using a small amount, you could just put 1 drop in your hand. Oh, and then I like to just cup my hand over my mouth and my nose, and just really deeply inhale. Let's do a few breaths, and that's really good for a very concentrated hit of the oils. So particularly if you're struggling with something like congestion or sinus issues, or if you're feeling very, when you need the emotional support, that's when I do it, when I'm like, I really need either some motivation or some de-stress. 1 drop in my hand, I think, oh, that's better. Okay, you can also use the oils topically. So this is on the skin. I would recommend diluting them. Now, the interesting thing about essential oils, when you dilute them, you actually make them stronger. because they are volatile compounds, which just means that they start to evaporate as soon as you put them on the skin. Now, if you mix them with a carrier oil, which would be something like almond oil, jojoba oil, fractionated coconut oil, even a lotion would be fine. You're going to hold those compounds, you're going to stop them evaporating away so much. And it also just means that it's easier for massage. And as a dilution guide, I would recommend 1 to 4 drops of essential oil to every teaspoon of carrier oil. If it was a baby or somebody with sensitive skin or somebody elderly, literally just 1 drop. So 1 drop of essential oil to 1 teaspoon of your carrier oil. With children, less is better. You can always increase if you feel that they need more, but these are so concentrated, 1 drop will be plenty for them. The third way that you can use these oils, and this is just for doTerra oils, so please don't do this with any other brands you might have at home, but you can take them internally. Not every single oil in the range is safe to be ingested, but the ones that have been studied by our doctors and scientists will say so on the bottle, and it is a very large portion of them. And this is really great for, again, stress, anxiety, emotional support, immune support, digestive support, and actually they taste fantastic. So if you're into cooking and baking, you know, you can make all sorts of things. We've had lemon and rosemary hummus, we've had lavender chocolate truffles. In the summer, you can add them to your drinks. You know, we've got lime, lemon, grapefruit, ginger, turmeric. So all of these oils are absolutely beautiful to taste. Okay, so I'm just going to start with 6 single oils now and 4 blends. The first one I'm going to share with you is peppermint. So peppermint oil is, well, one of my favorite ways to use this actually is for headaches, migraines, and if you get that kind of like neck tension, you know, at the end of the day when you're feeling like you've carried the weight of the world on your neck and your shoulders and get that stiffness. Actually, if you just get your peppermint, and this is probably when I wouldn't bother diluting, I just rub my finger or thumb on to get the residue from the lid, and I just put a little bit on my temples, a little bit at the back of my neck, along my shoulders, and it really gets into the muscles, but it's so effective if you've got that head tension, that headache. You get this gorgeous warming and the cooling from the menthol and this tingling, and it's very effective pain reliever. Actually, Jodie, can you just tell us about your experience with using this for headaches, please? I'm trying to ask you to unmute.
Of course, I was hoping you would ask me. I just absolutely love peppermint, and it is my favourite. And like, I've been with doTerra a year, and I haven't had to take anything for my migraines since. Seriously, if I run out of peppermint, it's a bad thing. But really, I you know, the first sign of anything, a little bit, just as Daisy said, on my temples, I put it on. I mean, I get such bad headaches, and I think it's generally like hormonal headaches as well. So, and very often. And now I can just manage them with the peppermint, and you know, I have a bottle in the car just in case when I'm out. But really, not to have to take any pharmaceuticals is an absolute blessing. So just knowing that it's all natural, all doing me good, no harm being done, and no toxins is wonderful.
That's great. Thank you, Jodie. And actually, when you think about being in the car, it's really good for focus and concentration. So if you're like doing a long journey, you get these little in-car diffusers now as well. You think, oh God, the last thing you want is to be feeling sleepy at the wheel. The peppermint's very, very calming, but really helps with that focus and concentration. It's great for long journeys, great for any kind of study. It's also quite good for performance as well. My other job is I'm a musician, so you feel nice and calm. It, you know, eases any nerves, but it helps your focus and concentration whilst you perform. So it's another one that you can use there.
I just inhaled it with some lemon before the class.
Did you? Invigorate?
Time of evening, yeah, just to sort of wake myself up a little bit. It's lovely.
Oh, that's so good. Now, you can use it for digestive support. A lot of us know about peppermint tea for digestion, but I'm just going to put this into perspective of how a drop of our peppermint compares to peppermint tea. Okay, I've said these oils are really strong because they are nothing but the plant. So this is, you know, 100% pure peppermint. I've never known another oil even close to this. Now, 1 drop of doTerra peppermint oil is the equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So they are very, very potent. And that's actually why I just use a tiny little bit when I'm dabbing it around. But often I then take the residue and pop it on the roof of my mouth as well, just freshen the breath and get some of those digestive benefits. You can also use it for things like sunburn. If you've got a fever, it is very cooling. If you've got hot flushes, can't think of the word then, you can have a little water bottle with a peppermint in, give it a good shake and just spritz yourself to naturally cool you down. Okay, let's talk lavender. So we all know lavender is great for really calming and relaxing you. Lavender, like many oils, wants to create homeostasis, so balance within the body. So anything that's out of alignment, even if it's stress levels, anxiety levels, hormone levels, you know, bring us these things back to that neutral point where they should be. Now you can use lavender in your bath. You can use it like a little bedroom spray. Actually, it's really effective for sleep. And I know a lot of people have tried lavender products for sleep. It doesn't even compare. It's a completely different experience when you use a pure lavender oil. And what I would recommend is putting a small amount on the soles of your feet. You've got loads of pores there. It's not a sensitive area. Do that about 20 minutes before you go to bed, and you really will feel the difference. I just had a message from somebody. I said, "How did you sleep last night?" I was like an old song, and they said, "Like a log, Daisy," and I was like, "Yes," because that's, you know, that's what you want to hear. I feel like it just impacts your whole day when you're tired, doesn't it? So that's the of lavender, but you can also use lavender as a natural antihistamine. So if you suffer with allergies or hay fever, you can use it for burns. So sunburn, cooking burns, it's so soothing and it takes the sting and the pain of the burn away instantly. It's absolutely unbelievable how quickly the pain goes actually. And the healing, it just heals so fast. Rashes, irritations, and nappy rash, it's really good for as well. One other thing I'll just mention is there's a naturally occurring compound, it's called linalool, and it's found in a lot of essential oils and it's found in lavender. Now, linalool is what lowers those stress and cortisol levels. So when doTerra set about deciding which lavender they were going to use, they went for a mixture of 2 different breeds of lavender, and it was because they were the highest quantity of linalool in them. So this oil, 100% lavender oil, is 59% linalool, which is again the highest in the world. The next best one I've been able to find was 31%. And that was a really good one actually. So most of them are going to have teeny tiny amounts. It means that you really, really feel the stress leaving your body. For me, it's like this heavy wave. Like I actually feel my body sort of become heavy with the feeling of that. Oh, okay, now I'm relaxed. Another one that's actually also very good for stress and anxiety, lemon. It was shown in clinical trials recently to be just as effective at relieving stress and anxiety as lavender. But whereas lavender is probably your evening one or your more of an afternoon one, because it, you know, will bring about that sleepy feeling. Lemon is very energizing. So I would say if you're starting your day feeling that stress, feeling that overwhelm, get your lemon in the morning, lavender in the evening. All of the citrus oils produce serotonin as well, so they are your happy oils. So if you're looking for a natural serotonin boost and a lift to elevate your mood, again, things like lemon, wild orange, grapefruit, lime, all of the citruses, they're brilliant for that. And this is one, it's made from the rind of the lemon, so it's naturally alkaline, which is something else we want to be doing to support our body. When we're stressed, if we're eating too much processed food, we cause an acidic environment, which leads to inflammation and disease normally. So anything we can do to have more alkaline-rich food is very beneficial for us. But not only is it very alkalizing, it supports the digestive system, the metabolism. It also purifies and cleanses the blood and rids you of toxins. So this is one that I have in my water in the mornings. I put a drop of lemon in first, actually, and sometimes in the afternoon. Then I add my water, but I always put the oil in, then the water, because otherwise it kind of just sits on top of the drink. You put the oil in first and it just flavors the whole thing. It's beautiful. You can use this to cleanse your skin, but you do have to be careful with citrus oils. if you go out into direct sunlight, you can increase the risk of burning. So although it is a wonderful skin cleanser, I would just do it in the evenings and make sure you wash, the next morning. Tea tree, or Melaleuca, the plant's called Melaleuca. This is another one that's very, very good for your skin. I think this is the first essential oil I ever used as a teenager. I always used to find it really drying for my skin though. And when I used the doTerra tea tree and felt my face, I thought, oh my God, my skin feels so soft. And I realized it was the chemicals before that made my skin feel so dry. Because actually a truly pure tea tree is so rejuvenating, your skin will feel incredible. But it's also one you can use in your shampoos and conditioners. It's really good for your hair and scalp health. It's great for your nail health too. And it's good for your immune system. It's antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal. You could use it for targeted areas that need relief. So if, for example, you've got an ear infection, you could actually put it around the outside of the ear, perhaps a little drop of lavender. If you've got a sore throat, you could put it onto the outside of the throat. You can take this one internally. I wouldn't say it's one of the best tasting ones, but I can just about tolerate it. And I do, when I'm poorly, I'm like, okay, get some tea tree in me because I know it's going to work. Little ones for keeping nits at bay as well. Then we've got oregano. So in a similar way to tea tree, these are the two that I go for when I'm feeling run down, feeling poorly, when kids are bringing germs into the house. I think, oh God, because this is actually the best one for your immune system. But just like the tea tree, it's antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, so all the antis. And you remember, I mentioned at the beginning that doTerra they do loads of research work, loads of independent clinical trials are being done. Because the oils are consistently at a quantifiable standard. And there was a trial done with doTerra's oregano oil, comparing it with amoxicillin, which is quite a well-known antibiotic. And doTerra's oregano was just as effective as the amoxicillin, even down to they kept lowering and lowering the dose, and it was still as effective, even down to half a drop of the oil. What was really interesting was it was only targeting the bad bacteria and there was no antibiotic resistance. I thought, oh my God, this is amazing. More people need to know about this. This is one that we would call a hot oil. So you definitely don't want to use it neat. It is very, very powerful in flavor as well. So I would probably recommend putting this in a capsule. You get these little empty tablets, you can put a drop in, you can swallow it like you would a normal tablet. It's 70 times more powerful than the herb. So if you're using it in cooking, you can literally just get a cocktail stick, dip it in the bottle, then mix it through. Now I would do it at the end of your cooking just so you protect those benefits as much as possible. Jodie, you're a bit mad for oregano, aren't you? do you want to
my ketchup? I mean, it's absolutely tomato, oregano. It's incredible. And also they've done research with oregano and tea tree together. They're just an absolute powerhouse together, aren't they? They work in different ways, but together they are brilliant. So I do take that in the capsules, I have to say, without, no, I couldn't do it.
Have you not braved tea tree on its own?
No, never. I've done oregano, a drop of oregano in a tablespoon of honey, which is hard work in itself, but it was powerful. It's working.
You can feel it like cleansing your body, can't you? You feel like, oh, you've had something good for you.
Love it.
Excellent, thanks Jodie. Let's just talk about frankincense then. So this is often called king of the oils. It is, within the aromatherapy world, there's a bit of an expression, if in doubt, use frankincense. Because frankincense supports all of the systems in the body. So I can't think of any systems now, digestive system, immune system, respiratory system, all of the systems. And it also crosses the blood-brain barrier, which is amazing. And it's so good for our memory, our cognition, and our brain health and keeping the brain young. Now I would put a drop on your thumb and then press it to the roof of the mouth. So you're allowing it to get to the brain. Sometimes I also like to actually massage it onto my head just to really, I always worry about getting old and losing my memory. So I really like anything I can do to help preserve that. Frankincense is a natural preservative. I mean, the Egyptians used it to mummify all of their mummies, whatever you would call them, and it preserves the skin as well. So if you're looking for those anti-aging benefits, this is the oil. It's often called Botox in a bottle because it very quickly you will see all your fine lines and wrinkles disappear. You get a really youthful glow. It repairs the skin not just on the surface, but really gets deep as well. So this is the most anti-aging. You will find it in lots of very expensive, very high-end anti-aging like skincare lines. You don't need those. You can just make your own or just add frankincense to your regular stuff. From an emotional point of view, it releases emotional blockages. So if you're holding things in, it allows you to let go of those. It also gives you the strength to tackle very challenging emotional situations and circumstances. People with depression and anxiety are often really drawn to frankincense. It's incredibly grounding. It's very calming. It takes away an overactive mind and worries. So it just clears that. So again, it's great for things like meditation as well. And it's one that you can also use for pain relief. So if you're struggling with areas with pain, the pain protocol I'd recommend is frankincense and an oil called copaiba. Some people say copaiba, some say copaiba. You can call it either. So it's got similar properties to CBD oil, though it's nothing to do with the cannabis plant. But the copaiba and the frankincense together, they're your pain powerhouse. They're absolutely incredible and both really, really relaxing as well. Okay, so I'm just going to run through 4 blends with you now. So first is called On Guard. This is a protective blend. This was designed by doTerra's doctors to protect us from all of the bugs, the germs, the viruses, including the airborne germs and pathogens. We actually are breathing in a lot of those nasties in the air. If you put this in the diffuser, it's going to kill them. It actually kills 99.9% of all of the germs and bacteria. So it's actually more effective than bleach. It smells loads better than bleach. You've got cinnamon, clove, wild orange, rosemary, and eucalyptus. And it is one of the most popular blends because it's very calming, but it's very uplifting as well. So you've got the orange in there, or remember I said about citrus oils releasing serotonin, they're being your happy, your motivating, energizing oils. I think it's kind of got a little Christmassy smell. I guess it's because of the cinnamon and the clove. But if you're looking for immune support, you can take this internally. You can put it on your feet. You can put it on your children's feet if they're, bringing home a lot of bugs and germs. It's also great for your mouth and oral health. So you can use it. We have a range of mouthwash, toothpaste, fluoride-free toothpaste. There's a hand wash. There's all sorts of things. So all of the cleaning, cleansing products. Then there's air. This one is for respiratory support. So it's got your peppermint and eucalyptus in, cardamom, laurel leaf, ravensara, melaleuca, which is the tea tree, and lemon. So it's got that lovely serotonin from the lemon. So I would use this if you're struggling with congestion, sinus pain. We've had amazing results in my house with my son who has asthma, through the regular use of this oil. He now doesn't take any asthma medication at all, hasn't done for nearly 18 months. You can also use this in the diffuser overnight to help with snoring, which is another. Jodie's nodding yes. We have a lot of people say this has really helped the husbands snore, because obviously we don't snore, do we, ladies? You can use it for any kind of breath work, any yoga. I like to use it actually in the shower. In the morning, I put a couple of drops on the shower floor, and then the shower acts as a natural diffuser. Be careful, don't put loads in because you do make it slippy, but literally if you just do 1 or 2 drops, then the steam from the shower allows those oils to rise around you, and it's just so energizing. It's just such a nice way to breathe and start the day. Okay, this is a blend which is called Deep Blue. This is the only oil from the ones I'm talking about today that you can't take internally. So this one was designed by doTerra's doctors for pain relief. So it's got the peppermint in, but it's got all these other lovely oils as well. Blue tansy, so it's blue in colour, helichrysum, wintergreen, camphor, Roman chamomile, and osmanthus. Now what this does is it creates a heat and a cooling, and it's it really gets into the muscles. You can also use it for things like joint pain, hip pain, arthritis. It reduces the inflammation and increases the circulation to the area as well. Shall I just tell you a little story about a lady that we now work with? She's called Paula. I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this, but Paula is a nurse, and she had something called plantar fasciitis, which was this pain in her foot. She'd had it for 4 years, and she'd been back and forth with the doctor, thought she'd tried everything, and it was actually this that led her to come onto one of my classes and say, oh right, let's just give it a go. What have we got to lose? So she bought herself some oils, and she started using this deep blue on her foot, on her plantar fasciitis pain, and the pain stopped. And she stopped using this particular oil on her foot, and the pain never came back. Now remember, she'd been living with that for 4 years. So I think this really beautifully demonstrates that these oils, they're not short-term solutions. Our bodies are designed to heal. They work with the bodies to heal. Sometimes they just need that little extra helping hand. And of course, you've got all the really concentrated healing benefits from the plants. And then the last one is one called Zengest. So this is for digestive support. And we're learning so much about how important our digestive system and our gut health is. It's often called our second brain. So our brain and our gut are in constant communication with each other. Now, the gut is also where most of your immune system is housed, and it's where most of your serotonin is produced. So for me, I think it's really important to take care of that. And I actually have a drop of Zengest with lemon every morning with my water. So you can use this daily just to support the digestion, so you know you're getting all of the nutrients and the absorption from your food. But you can also use it as and when required. So I'll give you a few examples of that. One would be for acid reflux or heartburn. Perhaps a lot of people come off omeprazole, which is not a medication you want to take long term. It actually causes an overproduction of the stomach acid and makes it harder for the body to absorb calcium. So particularly as you age, you don't want to be taking that. So Zengest will cool all of that heartburn, acid reflux. You can, don't need to take medication like omeprazole anymore. You can use it for any kind of stomach cramps and issues. The coriander is beautiful for just stopping those tummy cramps. If you've got sickness or nausea, the ginger is wonderful. This is amazing for pregnancy. If you're struggling with gas or sickness, then and heartburn, all of these lovely pregnancy symptoms, then Zengest is your new best friend. It's absolutely amazing, particularly at a time when you don't necessarily you don't want to put anything into your body that isn't natural. We actually also use it for my one child who gets car sickness. He just smells it in the car, and it will alleviate travel and car sickness. So yeah, it's one that comes everywhere with us. And my other boy who has poo problems. I'm sure my kids would hate that I talk about this on class. I haven't mentioned which ones, but anyway, it will help with any constipation, bloating, if you have any kind of like IBS type symptoms as well. And I just missed one. So I'm just going to explain a little bit about the cost comparison between something like Zengest and Gaviscon. First of all, I'm going to say that these are not cheap oils because, well, it takes a huge amount of work and huge amounts of plants to create a truly pure essential oil. And when you see these oils online or even in health food shops, and they are very inexpensive, it's because they're not produced purely with plants. Now, although they're not cheap, because I always say cheap oils don't exist because they're not essential oils, they can be very cost effective when you use them in the recommended amounts, small amounts. Also, I think things are cost effective if they work. I'd rather pay more for something that actually is what it's supposed to be and works. But it means you can buy less of other things. So let's look at this. So say, for example, you might normally buy something like Gaviscon to help with indigestion. Now, a serving of Gaviscon is 58 pence. But if you've got Zengest in your medicine cabinet or in your natural first aid kit at home, a serving of that, if you had 2 drops, would be 20p. It's a third of the price. So you find that you don't buying these over-the-counter things anymore because you've got the oils there, and that becomes your go-to as you learn to treat your health naturally instead. Not going to talk about that today. But I am going to just tell you a little bit about the community. So what I've covered tonight is really just a taster, so you can learn a little bit about doTerra and the integrity of the company, and a little bit about the oils and how you can actually start to understand them and perhaps use them in your everyday life. Now, if you would like to learn more, we have sorry, I don't know why I keep pressing buttons. We have amazing community online. So we've got these Facebook support groups, and within those groups we have experts come in every single week and talk about different topics. So if you're fascinated by gut health, you can go on a class just about gut health. Tonight we've got this amazing lady who's teaching about emotional support, recharging and recovering, and oh my god, she's just so knowledgeable. There's things like pregnancy and children in the early years, pain management, essential oils in your pets. So you can access all of these classes for free. You can gain qualifications with them as well. So if you're somebody that likes to study aromatherapy and have a certificate of completion, you can also access that. Because I really think that it's about people being empowered with the knowledge. I meet too many people that say, well, I bought these oils, but I didn't use them because I didn't know what to do with them. So knowledge, knowledge first. So if you want me to add you into one of those groups, please do let me know and I can get you access to that. There's also an app that I wanted to recommend, which is called Modern Essentials Plus. So this one, you can find it in the App Store. This is really handy because you can search for any kind of most health problems, and it will give you some suggestions of what oils to use. Often there'll be a few different oils because we might not have all of them, but they have like a crossover with the chemical compounds. So you might think, okay, I don't have geranium, but I've got clary sage. So you can, do it like that. And you can also look up the oils as well and learn about them and what their applications are. And we can tap you into lots of other resources so you've got all these things at your fingertips. I'm just going to go through the oils. So if you wanted to get yourself some oils to use and enjoy at home, well, there's a couple of different ways you could go about this. You could get them at retail price. I don't recommend this at all. It is the most costly way for you to do it. Why pay retail when you can pay wholesale? So what I always recommend is actually getting a wholesale customer account. Once you've got a wholesale customer account, you get 25 to 55% off all the products. That's not just the oils, but it's the skincare, the supplements, the toothpaste, the natural cleaning products, there's loads of things. And you can just order them as and when. You don't ever have to order anything again if you don't want to, but I imagine you're probably going to want to. And the best way to get this wholesale customer account, which you can also later run a business from if that's something you want to do, is by choosing a starter kit of oils to start your journey with. So the first kit I would recommend is the Family Essentials Kit. So this one is £129 and it contains 10 oils. So this is the 6 single oils and the 4 blends I discussed today. Obviously, you've then got your discount, your 25 to 55% discount on your wholesale account. You've got your access to all the community, the qualifications. And if you wanted to run a business as well, then you also will have your own website, which you can personalize and receive orders through, and doTerra will ship directly to customers for you. So you get your oils and your business and all of your community education and support for £129. Not bad. But there is a better kit. This is the kit I joined with. It's called the Home Essentials Kit. Now in this one, you get 3 times as much oil. These are 15 milliliter bottles, which aren't normally available in the UK. There's no other company that do them this big. So they actually feel huge because normally you only get a little 5 ml bottle. So this would contain 250 drops of oil. It contains a full size of 15 milliliter frankincense. The frankincense alone, frankincense is one of the most valuable oils, retails for, it's just gone up, I think it's £82 now. So the frankincense is this is probably why it's also so priced and treasured. So you've got those 10 oils. You've also got your doTerra diffuser. So this has got a timer on it, so you can set it for 2 hours, 4 hours, or 6 hours. You could turn it off overnight. It's got a little cute night light in there as well. So you get 3 times as much oil and the diffuser. Again, the wholesale discount, your website if you want to do the business and all your training for that, community access and education, and that's 249. Both kits are great, but I do recommend this as being the better value. You get a lot more in there. There are slightly bigger kits, but I generally don't recommend those unless you're perhaps you know, a therapist or in a salon and you would have a need for them. One of the first two kits is normally a better option. I'm just going to spend 5 minutes talking about the business. Okay, so one thing that you can do if you decided you wanted to earn some extra income with the business is if you're meeting people in your everyday life, you can offer free samples. We have tiny little bottles which you can put just a couple of drops of oil in, and you can give samples based on somebody's needs. So if somebody said to you, I've just not been sleeping, I'm tossing and turning all night, you know, give them a little sample of the lavender. These oils are completely unlike anything else they will have tried. And it's a nice way to approach your network of people, because you don't have to push a sale on anybody. You can let the oils do the talking, let the oils work, and then they can come back to you and give, you know, I'm sure they're going to tell you that it was amazing, and then you can sort of follow it from there. You know, invite them onto one of the classes. We always do a new member induction, so whenever somebody joins, we actually will go through with them, make sure they really understand what they're doing with their oils, and address any health needs with them as well. So that's one way that you can grow your business. But the way that I do this is all online. So doTerra are a direct sales company or a network marketing company. And in order to be very successful within that business model, firstly, you need to have a great product, the best product within that industry. Tick. But secondly, you have to have I believe you have to have a strategy. Where are you finding your customers? So yes, some people have jobs where they have a steady stream of customers already, but a lot of people maybe don't know that many people, or maybe they're not comfortable approaching, you know, someone they haven't spoken to for 10 years on Facebook. It just feels awkward. So what we do is we have a professional marketing team who create targeted audience adverts. These go out on our social media platforms. You can target in different countries as well. So people will see the advert, people who are already interested in essential oils. So I responded to one of these adverts. All of you responded to one of these adverts. That's how we're all here today. So you have a constant stream of interested people to talk to. You're not, you know, annoying friends and family. Oh, take a look at my oils. It's genuinely people who have an interest. And it means, I mean, I live in this tiny village in Wales and I'm working with people all over the world. You can grow a global business because as long as you speak the language in that country, the advert can go out to whichever countries you select. We can all connect via Zoom, and you don't have to hold any stock. You don't have to do any shipping. doTerra will post directly to those countries. So we're actually just about to launch in India this month, well, June, we're almost June. We're really excited about that because we know that's there's huge potential there. And very soon we're going to be working with and connecting with people who are within India, and doTerra will be handling all of the shipping there. So it really does mean that you can grow as big as you want to. Your business can be as big or as small as you want it to be with the targeted advertising. And it really cuts down on the workload. Because most people in this type of business spend most of their time trying to find their customers. I just open my email inbox and I have a list of names and I'm like, oh, okay, let's just contact those people today. So it means I'm working much more time effectively. And that's how I would recommend. You can absolutely do a combination of online and offline, but this is how I would recommend growing a very large business by doing it online. We're seeing absolutely huge growth in Europe, actually all over the world. And the essential oil industry is booming, but doTerra's growth in their first 13 years was bigger than Apple, the tech company. I mean, that just shows you they're doing something right, but it's still not oversaturated. There's still loads of room. I'm just going to talk a little bit about customer retention. So let's say you've got your great product, you've got your strategy, you've got all the training and support you need. The other thing you need to be successful is you need people to be returning, okay? So you want those returning customers. Now, with this business model, the industry average is 11%. But for doTerra, it's 75% customer retention in the UK, 68% globally. Well, that shows you that these products really work for people. The oils work. And actually, you want to find something where you've introduced somebody to the company, they're set up with their own account. doTerra will only ship direct to them because we don't want any middlemen. We don't want the chance of these oils being adulterated in any way. But then every time they reorder, remember, so 75% of people in the UK will do, then that creates residual or passive income for you. Because every time they reorder through their own account, you are earning commission. And just to give you a little idea of how long all this takes, how much you can earn. So let's say, for example, you want to earn yourself an extra £500 a month. Now, to do that, you'd need to get to a position called Premier. And that would be enrolling about 25 people onto a kit. So helping 25 people get set up with their own account and selecting their kit of oils. On average, that takes people 6 months to do, although I've seen people do it in a month. So it has been known. It really does depend on how much time, energy you put into it. But I would say that over 6 months, that would be working about an hour a day. So you can do an hour a day of contacting people, inviting them onto classes. You do not have to do your own classes. You can invite them onto mine or somebody else within the team. So once you've done that, you've got your £500 a month earnings. Now, to really elevate your income, you now want to help 3 other people to get to Premier. So help them find their 25 people and build their customer base. Now, once you've helped 3 other people get to Premier, you will be at a position called Gold. And still working very part-time, just 1 to 2 hours a day, that's when you will be earning £3,000 a month. And that takes an average of 27 months to do. We have all the training, all of the structure in place to help you do this. And you can achieve that full-time income. Most people, that's full-time income with very part-time hours. You can, of course, go on to achieve bigger goals, but really that's a 3 to 5 year plan to be looking at things like diamond level. We do work very closely with lots of diamonds who are sharing us the actual blueprint and the structure of how to get there. It's not rocket science, but it is about consistency, commitment, I guess also being passionate and authentic in what you do and wanting to really help people as well. But yeah, it's a great goal to work towards. So in summary, you could join today as a wholesale customer with your kit of oils, then you get your 25 to 55% off. But if you wanted to join the business, you'd need that kit of oils, but you'd also be earning commission. We would then call you a wellness advocate, and you're going to get all of our training and support, whether you're joining as a customer or for the business. We're going to support you every step of the way. You can work it online or offline, or a combination. It's entirely up to you. And that's the end of the class. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to stop the recording and then I'll see if we've got any questions. Did I stop? Did I do it?